It's never a waste of time to make time for the truth. A moment spent listening and paying attention to the truth can change your life. So let's take a moment for the truth. Psalms 119:80 says, "May my heart be blameless in your statutes, so that I will not be ashamed." There's a figure of speech that says, let's take a look under the hood. It's pointing out that outward appearances don't always say it all. A closer inspection is sometimes required. At times you need to lift the hood and see what's really there. Today's verse is the last one in the current section of 8 verses. The theme of this section speaks to the writer's desire to present his life as an attractive influence upon others. He began by acknowledging that God is the source of his life and testimony in verses 73 and 74. He recognized the Lord's righteous discipline in afflicting him in verse 75. He then asked the Lord's comfort and compassion to come to him during this time of correction in verses 76 and 77. And then in verse 78, the writer speaks of his response to being led astray by arrogant liars. So it's up against all of this that the writer expresses his desire for an integrity and esteem before God. He writes, "May my heart be blameless in your statutes." Now, more than just being a simple witnessing influence before others, he desires an internal integrity. He wants to take a look under the hood of his heart and find it true to form. He desires a heart that is upright, full, and undefiled in terms of what God has declared as his standard. Now, this is no small order. It's not merely keeping commands by the letter. It's an internal integration of all of that into his life. He doesn't simply obey rules. He wants to desire from his innermost heart to do what God desires. He doesn't want a legal obedience, but an obedience from the heart. I best can state it is to say that he truly wants to obey God. In the New Testament, Jesus stated it by saying, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." This is expressed in the final phrase of this verse, where the writer says, "so that I will not be ashamed." Now, you know, we have a phrase and it says he was caught red-handed. But in this verse, it's a different color. The word translated ashamed speaks of being pale. It's like being ashamed and the color leaves you. Literally, it would read, "so that I won't be pale-faced." The writer doesn't want to find himself failing his Lord and then found pale under the shame of his failure. Now, the protection from that happening is assuring that his heart has an integrity to it. There are plenty of cautionary tales of failure and shame. None of us want that to happen in our lives. And the way to prevent that from happening is to take the time to look under the hood of our hearts before the Lord. Keep close tabs on your heart. It's a daily discipline that really pays out in the long run. So take a look under the hood. It only takes a moment, but it will be a moment that matters. Thanks for watching and listening to Truth Matters Moment. Also, don't forget to look for our weekly podcast called Truth Matters. It comes out every Wednesday. Catch you later.